Today we're traveling to downtown Norwich, and this is the marina. It's a beautiful location, and we're going to check out this property that is approximately 0.11 acres being offered for $35,000. And what's interesting about this property is that this may look like an ordinary vacant lot, but did you know that there's actually a pretty cool story behind it? So the property starts right here, and this is 40 feet this way, and it goes back 120 feet that way, and a two-family stood right here. It's a brick structure, and it was last sold for $100,000 in 2009. Now, the $35,000 question is that, hey, should I buy this property? What look like this? And what should we investigate? So let's walk this and find out. This land hasn't always been vacant. The historical multiple listing services records showed that a brick two-family building dating back to the mid-1800s previously stood on this site right here. And you're going to see some old photos of the building. In 1998, this property sold for $50,000. And then again in 2009, this property sold, this time for $100,000. The historic MLS records differ on some of the exact building details, so I won't rely on the exact measurement, but the data reflects a two-family once stood here. And fast forward to today, things look obviously a bit different. The building is gone, but when you walk on the property, you see the remnants of the old foundation. This is what it looked like before. And this is where I would caution a land buyer against making assumptions. You might look at this old existing foundation and think, great, fantastic, maybe I could reuse it. Well, maybe. That's something that would need to be investigated. I would want to know its condition, what the city would require, and whether you could actually be incorporated into the future, or would it need to be removed entirely? Also, I would ask another question is that, well, if there was a two-family here before, can I build another two-family here today? And my answer is that don't assume it. I would call the zoning department and have a conversation with Richard and tell him your plans for site approval. This property is currently identified being in Norwich's Central Chelsea or CC zoning district. This is a fact that is a particular building existed here in a historical doesn't automatically mean the same project can be built under today's regulations. I would want to make specific plan to the appropriate state departments to verify its proposed use, setbacks, parking, and requirements that lot coverages and any other approvals may apply. I think it's really simple way to remember this is that the old building tells us what was there, and the current regulations determine what may be possible today. There was another piece of interesting history on this record. Old MLS records reported public water, public sewer, and natural gas serving the former building. This information is useful because we know the property historically had those services. But again, historic information is not information of today's condition. Before developing of the property, I would verify utility, availability, connections, and requirements with Rob Harris at Norwich Public Utilities. So if I were buying 11 Oak Street, I would ask myself these 5 things.